What is up, everybody? Jester here, and today we're back in Conan Exiles doing some more testing from the patch notes that were dropped this week. Today is everything to do with Purge Bases and how you're going to be able to level up your thralls, because they added a line that I'm a little bit concerned with, and I definitely want to do some scientific testing on it. So I think it's not only going to affect long-term players of the game, but really affect new players trying to get a Purge Base off the ground. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it. The line that really caught my attention is going to be in the miscellaneous section of the patch notes. And if you guys want to come read line for line everything we're looking at right now, a link is in the description for this particular patch notes page. And the one that really got me here is this one. Reduced XP gain from crafting Stone Guardian parts and killing Purge Golems and Kurak Golems. Now, I have never used Stone Guardian crafting to level up my personal character. So even if I went to a new server from zero and said, hey, this is what it is now, I can't tell you what it used to be. So I don't think that's really a fair way to scientifically test anything. But what I have used pretty extensively, particularly to get my Purge Thralls leveled up, to have a really good Purge base, is Purge Golems. And my problem with this line isn't that it's being reduced. I will get to why I think it's a pretty good move to reduce it. My problem with this line is it just says reduced. It doesn't say we reduced it by 50%, we reduced it by 75%, or we reduced it to this number. It just says reduced, which opens the door for them to have nerfed this under the ground. And that's what we're going to be testing today. But first, it's probably important for you to see how it worked in the first place. In the past, if you were running a level 6 Purge and you were lucky enough to get golems to spawn, you could grab a follower and take a star metal arrow and kill these Purge Golems and basically insta-level a thrall from 0 to 20. Sometimes it would be 19, but quite often it would be level 20. And then you would hurry along and you'd try to grab another one, kill more, and get as many leveled up as you possibly can. And this does seem a little bit overpowered. Before anybody goes and gets their panties in a twist and starts mean typing in the comment section, I want to be clear here. I agree with Funcom on this one. This needs to be reduced. There's no way that a single entity, in this case being Purge Golems, should ever level up a thrall from 0 to 19 or 20. This is borderline an exploit, and I completely agree with that. It remains to be seen, though, how much it's been reduced, because all they told us was it's been reduced. That's what we're going to be testing today. And to do that, I came up with a plan. To execute my plan, I want to understand more about how thralls level up naturally. So I want to know if they're a linear level up, so like 1,000 points to each level, or if it is stacked XP to where it could be 1,000 to get from 0 to 1, and then 1,200 or so to 2, and then 1,500 to 3. I don't really know those things because I've never really paid attention. To get this going, we're going to go to my trusty vault here that I have got a lot of Sumerian Berserkers in, and we're going to grab about 3 of them. All of these were gained from decay farming here on 1513. So if you guys would like to see more decay farming and all of those good shenanigans, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. That way you know when I go live, because believe me when I tell you, decay farming has been very, very lucrative on this particular server. And this server has had a resurgence in this last week. I've seen upwards of 24 people online, so I expect there'll be a lot more decay farming coming up. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and place down one of these Berserkers. Now, these should be all 3 identical in all of their beginning stats, except for growth chances, but we're not really concerned too much about growth chances today, because we're not concerned about the actual leveling up. We're just worried about what it takes to get them leveled up. In this case, they start at 0 XP, and we're going to have to get to 3,675 to get them to level 1. Once we hit that, we'll then know if it's another 3,675, this should be pretty linear. If it's going to be 4,000 or more, or whatever it might be, we know that it's going to be stacked up a little bit. To do this, we're just going to run around Sinner's Refuge and kill some hyenas until we get this thrall leveled up. And honestly, this didn't take very long. We've already killed 1 hyena at this point. We're coming up on the 2nd, and here is our follower level up. Of course, we have another hyena we're going to have to take care of here, and that won't be a big problem. But now we'll be able to go ahead and take a peek at the stats to find out how they actually level up. And believe it or not, it is a massive stack. It goes all the way up to 13,650 XP required for the next level. So we're gonna have to go look at the Purge base at a fully leveled thrall to see what kind of numbers we're actually going to be getting into, because remember, those golems were giving us all the way to level 20. That means that's how much XP they were giving. After getting to my purge base and getting a little closer inspection on my thralls, I realized that once you hit level 20 with a thrall, it just shows max and max. It doesn't show you what it took to actually get there. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get a level 19 thrall so that we can see what it's going to take to get to level 20, and that'll give us about the XP that the golem was giving. I've got to be honest with you, I can't be mad about this because, like I said, you can't level up past level 20, but I'd still like to see the total number of XP that it took to get this guy to level 20. It's just another case of the developers hiding numbers, and we've been over this before. I really don't agree with that. Thanks, Funcom. The way to get around this was really actually pretty simple. I just went into my solo player server, I made myself an admin, and now we're going to have this particular Sumerian Berserker that I spawned in follow me. We're going to go to console commands, and we're going to type in level follower up to, and then space 19, enter. And now we should be able to get out of that, and we can clearly see that, oh my God, it's over 1 million XP. So what this means is the golems were dropping over 1 million XP per. Now, anybody that doesn't think that sounds overpowered, it's super overpowered. That's a lot of XP. And just to make sure that there was no funny business here, we did it again with another one. And again, it's 1,078,500 actual XP to get this guy to level 20. Well, at least now we know what the golems were dropping. The last piece of this mathematical puzzle is actually the remaining 2 Sumerian Berserkers that we had, because we want to duplicate our result. But by killing a Purge Golem now, with this particular thrall following us, we will be able to see exactly how much XP the current golems are dropping. We know they were over 1 million, now how much are they there to? If Funcom doesn't want to give you the math, I will. So I went ahead and put some meat into the thrall pot so that my ground fighters here have got some heals available for them if they need it. And then I do want to point out one other quick thing when it comes to purges. I'm going to do a video later on purge tips, but right now, like I mentioned earlier, 1513 is very populated. And a lot of times this means with this many people online that purges just won't spawn. So I've actually been fighting that a couple of times already. So you may want to wait to do this until there's a fewer number of players on your server. We're going to keep trying this until it works, because as you can see here, the last purge failed because it was no reachable location. Even though when there's nobody else online, I don't have any problems. But we are all set up for a level 6, and we're going to go ahead and proclaim wealth, and I'll just bring you back in when we actually get into a purge. It pretty much took me an hour to get to this point between failed spawns and everything else, but I finally saw Golem spawn right there on the right of my base. So I grabbed the Sumerian Berserker, and for this next bit, I can only tell you I'm a little bit sorry for the potato shooting, but it gives me a chance to tell you why I love this aspect of purges and how they were leveling up before, because it gives it a sense of urgency and hecticness when you're trying to jump around and grab multiple different thralls to get them leveled up, and your hands get sweaty, and you're trying for the kill, and like sometimes you'll get really close to a kill and then your archer will take them, but eventually you keep shooting and you'll finally get it. In this case, we did there. As we turn around and we look to see how much XP she gained, it's only 1,317 points. But this isn't science to just do it once. So let's grab the second Sumerian Berserker and let's turn around and let's get another kill, and let's actually see if this is really the case. I actually do a little better on the shooting here this time. But unfortunately, this is the case. They've nerfed this underneath the ground. It's only 1,317 points. My initial reaction to this was, what the Funcom? I mean, seriously, how do you go from over 1 million, almost 1,000,001, to down to 1,300 for XP for a particular entity? Does this put it more in line with an endgame type of NPC? Well, no, because check this out. At the beginning of this test, we took a Zerker out and we killed 3 hyenas, and that was enough to get him up to level 1. So between the 3 kills, we ended up at 3,861 XP. When you divide that number by 3 for total number of kills, it comes out to 1,287. Remember, this is the beginner area of the game. The golem's only worth 1,317, only 30 more XP. I just kind of feel like the pendulum may have swung a little too far here. To reinforce just how big a jump this is, I'm going to show you the actual math. If you start with the amount of XP required to hit level 20 at 1,078,500 and you divide that by 1317, which is the amount of XP a golem now gives, that means you went up from one golem getting you to that level to now 819 casual golems in a purge. This seems like a pretty big jump to me. On the flip side of the math here, if you take your 1317 XP you now get from a golem and you divide in your 1,078,500, this is going to be what percentage is left over. It is 0.001% of what it used to be, meaning this is a 99.998% nerf. It's no wonder they didn't want to tell you how much. While I am pretty shocked with the result of this test, I still agree that something needed to give here on this. You should never be able to get over 1 million XP from any one kill in the game. I hope we can all agree on that. But what I'm saying is this is going to really kill a lot of people's playtime. People are not going to go in and take the months that are going to be now required unless we find some other type of quicker leveling system to actually level up the, however many thralls they want. My base runs on 19 thralls, 4 tar dumpers, 7 archers, 8 foot soldiers. You can count my Lufe if you want for 20, but he's my personal protector. And I do have a dancer upstairs, but she's not even leveled up. So 21 on the top end. But how long is it going to take to get 21 thralls leveled up in this game when you don't have any remotely quicker way to get it done? So I hope Funcom looks at this again and says, hey, maybe we went too far. Let's meet him in the middle. If it took 10 or 20 golems, I can't really say much because something had to happen. But I think this is really just way too much. And from what I understand, they kind of have a history of making these knee-jerk reactions. And I hope going forward, especially in their new project coming up that we're going to mention in a second, they really take heed with that. But hopefully you guys like this kind of analytical and mathematical look at how the games actually work. And if you're into that, subscribe to the channel, like this video so it gets out to more people, because we're going to be doing a lot of Dune content. And this is the type of stuff that I really want to get into with Dune Awakening, how things work. And with that being a brand new game and it being much anticipated, I think a lot of you are into it. And if you like this style, like I said, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you in the comments. And who knows what else going forward. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.